Hey guys, we are back in the workshop and today I've got a really cool project for you because we are building the 22nd wildlife knife, or actually both of them, the Rhino Ranger and also the Rhino EDC knife. So let's get to it. So I've got the knives already cut out by the water jet. The steel is AGCRV2 and now I can start already working on the holes and after that with the grinding. So the knives are getting now rough ground on the belt grinder with a 50 grit belt because I want to remove as much material as I can before the heat treatment and before the steel is super hard, so it's easier on my belts and less time later after the heat treatment. But I also want to keep the knives not too thinly so they warp during the heat treatment, so you have to find a kind of sweet spot to grind them to. So what is 22nd Wildlife actually doing? They're often going out to South Africa and helping to set up anti-poaching units because there are a lot of poachers in South Africa and they are hunting for animals such as the rhino, and they're killing the rhinos just for the horn, and also other animals. They're finding traps in the bushes and they're trying to remove as many traps, wire traps, because animals are getting killed by those wire traps and often they are just killed by those wire traps and not getting picked up. So they're trying to preserve the wildlife in South Africa, and they're also setting up fire stations because there are also bushfires in different countries. So they are doing a great, amazing job, and I think this project is really amazing because you can get a really cool knife in the end, and you're also helping those guys out to save more wildlife. The knives are now partially ground and I will finish the grinding after the heat treatment because I don't want to grind the bevels too thinly or the edge too thinly because I don't want to have any kind of warping. And to protect the carbon steel, I have this spray which is called Scalex, and that just gives that steel a nice coating on the outside to protect it from the heat. The knives are now tempered and now I can finalize the grind on them. I've already rescribed the scribing lines for the center line of the knives, so now I have to jump to my grinding room and finish up the grind. The cool thing about this project is because one of the owners, he bought one of my Oberon knives years ago and he is still using it in Africa, and he showed me where he used it, and it is really cool that we came back together to make this project happening. It was a long road until we had the final design and everything together, but it was such an amazing project and it was a lot of fun to build those knives because it's also going out for a good cause. Now we're going back to the grinding, and I had to be really carefully because the knives were already heat treated, and you don't want to get your knives too hot because you could ruin your temper and then the knife wouldn't hold an edge for a long time, and you want to have that with a knife, of course. And guys, if you like that video, hit that subscribe button, that means a lot to me. And when I was done with grinding on the flat platen, I gave the knives a convex edge as well, so the knives are more durable when chopping, and you're still getting a really nice thin edge, so they cut well, but they are also super durable when you're using those knives. So now I'm back from the grinding room and the knives are finished ground. So the next task will be finishing up the handles, and I've already cut the G10 while the knives were tempering, so I can now start working on these handles. Today I tried something different with the editing. I tried to make a more of a montage style footage. If you're interested in how I do the full rock patterning, I have a full video where I explain everything in detail if you're interested in it. This is just a small montage on how I grind my rock pattern into the knife. It's just my style, and we of course decided to get to that rock pattern because we wanted to also represent my style in that project. So when I'm done grinding the handle and finishing up the rock pattern on the handle scales and also on the steel, I put them into my sandblasting cabinet, and for the first time of the blasting I leave on the handle so I can sandblast them really nicely and I don't have to hold the handles separately. And after that I'm going to unscrew those handles and sandblast underneath the handle scales. So I've got now the knives nearly finished, but before I can finish them, I have to ship them off to the laser engraving because these knives will get a special logo. They won't just get only my logo, they will also get the 22nd Wildlife logo engraved into these knives, and the logo is really integrated and I cannot etch that logo, so I have to ship it off to the laser, and after that I can finish these knives.
A few moments later.
The knives are now back from the laser engraving, and now I can apply an acid stonewash finish to them. If you're interested in finding out more about the acid stonewash and how to apply it to your knives, I've made a special video for that, so you can check that out. Alright guys, the knives are now done. I've also quickly made a kydex sheath for them so you can transport them safely. And if you're interested in purchasing a knife, I have the links down below. The bigger ones you have to pre-order, and I've also made 2 of these EDC knives available, so check out the link down below. And if you want to support 22nd Wildlife with purchasing the knife or without, check out the links. They make amazing work in South Africa saving those animals, so you should definitely check their content out. And if you want to see more content like that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you got any kind of questions, just drop them down below into the comment sections. I try to answer them as quickly as possible, and we will see us next Friday.